Welcome everyone. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about the REST connector, which is an out-of-the-box connector that comes with Camunda 8. REST connectors are used for automating REST calls in your processes completely out of the box. To get started, just make sure you have a task, and make sure that task is set to REST connector here at the bottom. So once you've created the task, on the right, you should see all of the configuration details that you'll need to fill in order to have this task work correctly. So let's just go from top to bottom. To configure this task, first thing you should look at is the Authentication panel. So if authentication is necessary at your REST endpoint, you'll be able to configure that here. So let's go ahead and look at the different types. Okay, you have none for no authentication at all. You have basic for just a basic username and password, bearer token for a authentication token. OAuth 2.0 can be used here as well. So in the next section, we're looking at the HTTP endpoint that you want to invoke. And here you'll need to select the method. So these include all of the normal HTTP methods that you might use. So get, post, patch, put, and delete. So in this example, we'll be looking at how to use the post method. These configuration details will change based on what you select, according to the specifications for that particular HTTP method. So the URL should be the URL of your REST endpoint. In this case, I'm using a website that's designed for testing basic HTTP calls. So you're welcome to use this as well. Okay, so the next line is the query parameters line. So here's where you're going to put all of your parameters for the query that you're trying to make, if you're trying to make a post query in this case. You also have a section for any HTTP headers that you'd like to include as well in the request. Remember that the formatting here is in JSON, and technically we are using feel to parse this, so you can actually use the expression language to put in process variables and different things like that in order to make this a little bit more robust. Okay, the next section, the connection section. This is just for the connection timeout. So here you can define how long it should take to establish a connection, the maximum amount of time, or you can put 0 here for an infinite timeout. So the next section we have the payload section. So here's where we're going to actually put our request body in. Again, this is in JSON, but you can also alter this with feel. So the next section is the response mapping section. So here we can define the process variable that will store the complete response from the web server after we've made our REST request. And you can also use a result expression to actually take parts of that response and map them to specific process variables. Okay, so the last section is going to be for error handling. So if you actually want to throw a BPMN error event, you can use this section for that. And so here you can use feel to also create an error expression, which will define how you throw this error based on what scenarios and what type of error it is. So I don't have anything in here for an example, just because this won't run in this case since we don't have a BPMN error event, but it might look something like this. So you just have a very basic feel expression here that can throw a BPMN error. After executing the process, you can see the result here in operate, along with the process variables that were formed from the request, as well as the entire response that was given back from the web server. All right, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully everything made sense, and good luck with using REST connectors with Camunda 8.